Hello and welcome along to WD18, the Watford fan channel with Charlie Zazzera, Sam Ucko and myself, Jacob Culshaw, for the final stream, the final video and the final podcast of the 23-24 season. There's only one way we can wrap it up. It's with our end of season awards video where we go through some categories, including best performance, unsung hero, best game, funniest moment, biggest stinker, etc. And maybe even the best away day as well. Subscriber of the season is definitely one to look out for. Big stream on the way. Thanks so much to everyone who's watching live. If you're listening to this back, please do leave a like on the stream, subscribe to WD18, follow the guys on their social channels. Really do appreciate it. And thanks so much to everyone who's watched our videos over this season. We really, really do appreciate it. I don't even know the exact number of viewers and listeners we've had over the course of this campaign, but I think it's been record numbers and record engagement. So a massive thank you first off for getting involved over the course of this season. Sam, in terms of this season, if you could describe it in one word, is there a word that comes to mind straight away?
The first word that came into my head, I probably shouldn't share on the stream, but I'll go meh. It's been meh. I don't know. I don't think it's been overly terrible, in my eyes at least, because I have enjoyed vast periods of it. I think we've seen a team who were a lot more committed than the team we saw over the last 2 years. Albeit the quality wasn't always there on the pitch and some incredibly frustrating moments. I think the league position, while I must throw in, by the way, I did predict 15th. We ended 15th, didn't we, as well? So that's not, you all laughed at me, by the way, for my predictions, but I got more right than both of you. So yeah.
Wait, whoa, Sam, steady on. If you haven't watched our video where we react to our predictions, I think I beat you there slightly, Sam. I'll give you a Spree young player. I'd give you the final league table finish, but automatically deducted points for Thomas Ince finishing as our player of the season.
No, fair play for that.
I think it was as well.
Yeah, not my finest hour. Looking forward to doing that again in a few months. But yeah, no, it's been enjoyable in some parts, but frustrating on the pitch, and our league position, I think, reflects that in many ways as well.
One man I can't wait to talk about today, Charlie, is Mr. Edu Kiyembe. I've got a brew going on here. Charlie, how excited are you for this final stream of the season? We've been through it, haven't we, this season? There's been ups and downs, many downs, but some ups as well.
Yeah, I think it's been fine. I quite enjoyed the final day. It was great to see Ipswich do it, and I think it kind of gives hope to show that it doesn't have to be the teams coming down, and through great coaching, player development, it was great, unbelievable job which Kieran McKenna has done. Hopefully Tom Cleverley has got a tiny bit of that stardust in him for next season, but I think the season's been fine. I think one thing to caveat is this has probably been the strongest championship in a long time, with Ipswich and Plymouth coming up. Plymouth stayed up as well. Sheffield Wednesday stayed up as well, and Leeds and Southampton, one of those guys, or maybe two of those guys, not going up. So hopefully next season can be better for us, boys.
Have you guys looked at sort of the predicted table for next season and some of the teams? And it's quite an evenly matched league at this moment in time. Obviously, this is not including the teams that are going to be in the playoffs. But Sam, I looked at a graphic and I looked at the teams there, and I thought it's pretty open for one team to surprise.
It is prime Coca-Cola. I'm buzzing.
Empower.
Is that the best sponsorship in Championship history, do you reckon?
Oh, without doubt. That's the one I grew up with as well. Just perfection.
It just reeks of Ashley Young, doesn't it?
Just the Coca-Cola badge. I remember you'd always get I can't remember what it was, but there was the graphic on the back of the shirt, I think it was, on the side, the sleeves. Oh, perfection. Those were the days. Prime Coca-Cola and Barclays. That was the time to be alive, I think. But I think, it's an even division next year, which in many ways I think will make it more difficult, because the Championship throws up so many surprises, and without there being necessarily a clear favourite, I think makes it more difficult in a way.
A huge shout out from Ben as well. Empower, more my time for sure. It's a lovely shout. That screams Danny Graham for me. Huge shout out also to Adam, who says it's 4 a.m. here in Australia, but couldn't miss the live. Thanks for the great season analysis. Excited for the year ahead. Adam, you've won subscriber of the season, my friend. Huge shout out to everyone who's watching live. Luan says, much harder league next season, I reckon. Thought this league was poor again this year in terms of quality outside the top four. A huge shout out to Hacker, a huge shout out to Surin, and a huge shout out to Ian as well, who has been amongst us and some of our moderators here on WD18. Anyway, let's just briefly touch on our last final game of the season away at Middlesbrough. It did finish Middlesbrough 3, Watford 1. As Sam said, that means we finished 15th in the league this season. Sam predicted it. A disappointing afternoon up in the northeast at the Riverside. I guess the main thing is we're not going to dwell on this one really. It probably was one of the most pointless fixtures, but there was some nice moments in terms of academy players getting on the pitch and making their full debuts. You had Xavier Messiah Edwards and Albert Ames who came off the bench together, which was a lovely moment. And two guys who'd worked together in the academy with Armin Kavaya and Tom Cleverley making their full Watford debut. And you saw in their post-match interview how happy they were to do that, despite the result, of course. Charlie, Sam, just anything we want to add on sort of this one? It meant absolutely nothing, but I saw a little bit of a frustrated reaction at full time. Charlie was probably the word to use. I understood it to an extent because if you take a step back and you look at the season as a whole, we're on the same number of wins as Birmingham, which is quite worrying. And you think about the fact we only finished 6 points above the relegation zone. Did you understand some of the frustration after Middlesbrough?
I was a bit confused by it, to be honest. I kind of had one eye on the game, but I was watching two other games, so I didn't see it. And I thought we were okay in the game. I was surprised. Again, I might be wrong because I didn't watch it properly. I thought we were making good advances, and Bayo should have scored with a header. Rajvic should have scored. We were getting into good positions. I know Tom Cleverley said he thought the better team won. I know Dan Batman made a couple of good saves. So I thought, considering the situation, I thought we'd done all right. And then, I was just a bit surprised by the negativity. Like, that result was a big game changer to anything before. So it'd be interesting what people think in the comments, if it was that game or just like a backward step on the season and seeing we're 15th, 6 points. But I think after the Birmingham game, our season's been pretty finished for a long while. So I think the ending's been okay with Clevs, and hopefully we can look forward to next season.
Sam, Charlie mentioned it there, sort of about looking ahead to next season. Just lastly on sort of the last game of the season, it meant that Watford finished with 13 wins, 17 draws and 16 defeats. So 17 draws is the most in the Championship this season.
We'll never sing that.
The only team, the second highest with Huddersfield with 18 draws. Watford, who finished in 23rd. Watford finished in second. So the second most draws in the Championship, you'll never sing that, is what we're going to be going into next season with. But Sam, why do you think we've had so many draws? Can you put your finger on why?
A lack of ruthlessness, I think, particularly in those games that finished 0-0. There have been so many of them. There must have been, at least 4 or 5 0-0s, if not more. I look back at some of those games, such as Huddersfield away. I was there with you, Charlie. I think I was falling asleep in that one. That was horrific. Hull, Preston as well. I think we drew 0-0 against, and just so many of those games where even if Watford didn't create opportunities, it was because we just lacked any sort of cutting edge in the final third. So I think particularly with it being a good chance that Yasser Esprit is going to be off in the summer, that's an area that we're going to have to be looking at in terms of creativity. And in terms of those score draws as well, I think at times we've looked really, really poor defensively as well, albeit our defenders have arguably been some of our better players this season. And obviously Wes Hu, Ryan Andrews and Ben Hamer and Dan Backman have come in and made some really good saves at times as well. So, I think it's a mixture of problems at both ends, to be honest with you. But those 0-0s were the biggest concerns for me, because you see in tight games as well that where it is so like it is cagey, but some teams just seem to have those players that can kill games off. An example of that, I know it was 3-1 in the end, but Middlesbrough, who I thought were quite poor in that first half, their striker gets one chance and scores it. And that's all you really need in the Championship. Whereas I feel like with the likes of Rajvic and Bayo, they need 5 or 6 chances to even get one on target, let alone score. So, that's an area that has to be looked at in the summer.
Yeah, one man for Middlesbrough who looked really sharp, I thought, at the weekend was Emmanuel Latte-Lath. And I think the one thing you say about him is the level of quality between him and Rajvic and Bayo. There are levels, I think, in terms of his all-round ability. And that was probably one of the biggest frustrations at the weekend was Bayo had a good chance. Rajvic had a good chance. Wesley Hoop probably should be going up front. It was a lovely header from a corner as well. But there it finished 3-1 to Middlesbrough at the Riverside.
And just on the left though, he cost like 4 million. So it goes to show that quality. And he had a pretty slow start to his season. I think now he's got nine goals in his last 8. But again, they put 4 million on him. It took him a while for him to get going, and just shows the difference between him and Rajovic, doesn't it? So, yeah, let's move on from that Middlesbrough
game. And also, we'd be interested, and obviously we'll cover it here on WD18, the recruitment over this summer transfer window, because I think I'd go as far to say it's probably the biggest transfer window in the Pozzo era in terms of ins and outs. And there'll be plenty of both, I think, because our hand's going to be forced, even though, as we said, we probably haven't got the biggest budget in the world. But there we have it. That was the end of the 23-24 season. And that means one thing and one thing only, the 23 and 24 awards. Now, obviously, you have the official club channels doing the player of the season for Wesley Hoot, young player of the season for Yasser Esprit. But we wanted to do a little bit of a twist on it. And these are some of the categories. So we've got best performance, unsung hero, best game, funniest moment, biggest stinker from Watford, best away day, best opposition player, subscriber of the season, and WD18 tweet of the season from me, Sam, and Charlie. So stick around for that. Make sure you do watch the whole video. We're going to kick it off with the best performance. Samuel Ucko, kick us off. And don't worry, RH 1986, we will get the whiteboard out over the summer. Don't you worry about that. Best performance, Sam?
That's a collective one, and I feel like it's a game that's gone under the radar. I've gone 5-0 against Rotherham. Any chance you get to score 5 goals in a game, I think is always a positive. I thought the QPR game, that first half, was unbelievable, but as a more rounded performance, I thought Rotherham, they'll probably go down to one of the worst teams in Championship history, albeit they did score 5 against Cardiff on the last day somehow. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. And under the lights towards the end of the game as well. Perfection.
Charlie?
Best game. Do you know what? I really wanted to give it, I don't know if it's recency, but that Southampton game, I know we lost the game, but sorry, that's performance. Yeah, best performance. I thought Southampton, we were really, really good, even going 2-0 down, kind of the game plan, the pressing, getting the goals back. Obviously, we got robbed at the end, but I really like that Southampton game. But for me, it's got to be QPR first day of the season. The sun's out. We're against QPR, who I can't stand. Got some a lot of QPR mates. So like,
I was so angry, Charlie. I can't stand
QPR. But that first half, it was the first time we've seen a new team under Valerian Ismail. 4-0 at half time, 2.95 XG in the end, 71% possession. We had 24 shots and 13 on target. I haven't looked compared to the rest of the season, but 13 shots on target seems very, very high. Sexy football. We know they were pretty poor, but just that was a real shock to the system, that game. And that week when we were top of the league, it was a glorious, glorious time.
Did any of you guys see the graphic on the Championship official channels where they did like the top 4 moving about? And genuinely, if you blinked, you would have missed us at the top of the league on the first week of the season. Sam's gone Rotherham. Charlie's gone QPR. I've gone for a slightly different taste. It's not a win either. I've gone for the draw at home to Leeds. For me, I thought tactically that was our best performance of the season against the quality of opposition as well. And that's why, not to throw shade at yours, lads, but you look at where QPR finished this season, you look at where Rotherham finished this season, and you look at where Leeds have finished this season, and Leeds were very, very close to getting automatically promoted. It was one of the first few games under Tom Cleverley as well. But I think one thing to say is tactically, against the quality opposition in Leeds, they finished 3rd in the league. I just thought we got it absolutely bang on that night, and we went toe-to-toe with them. And some would say maybe Leeds had a slight off day in terms of maybe they're in the final third. It was the first home game under Tom Cleverley. I thought Somerville that night looked really, really sharp, and I just thought we just played well. Bio and Dennis on the score sheet, but just for me, I thought that was our best performance tactically. And to be fair, on another night, we might come away with all 3 points.
It was just that second half for me. It was like we were just hanging on, and we didn't have a foothold in the game. That's why I kind of went for the QPR one. But
Yeah. Let us know who's got the best shout in the comment section below of those three shouts. So we had the Rotherham 5-0, we had the QPR 4-0, and a 2-2 draw with mine. So I like the fact that we've all gone for different takes. And moving on to our unsung hero, and let us know as always in the live chat and in the comment section. But then obviously tweet us at WD18 fans if you agree or disagree with any of our takes. Unsung hero, Samuel Ucko.
I was torn between a few here because this season, I think we all agree Wes Hoop probably got player of the season simply for consistency more than anything else. But I feel like it's because at times this season we've had players who have performed really well, then gone under the radar. And one of those players I think has been Ben Hamer, who saved us an unbelievable amount of points, I think, in the middle of the season. You think back to even that Preston game against 5-1, where I think he stopped something like an expected goals of 3 or something like that. So for me, it's Ben Hamer because I thought he was harshly dropped as well. And I don't think he's got the full plaudits that he's deserved.
Has he played enough this season to justify the unsung hero, Sam?
Well, I think that's why part of an element of why he's the unsung hero for me, because I feel that if he played more games, I think he would have got more plaudits.
Yeah. He's taken mine. Like, I totally agree with Sam. I think some of the saves in those games have won us games. Without Ben Hamer, I'd be worried to see where we would be in the table. I remember that QPR last minute effort which he saved. Preston, he made an outrageous save, and everyone was kind of miffed when Dan Batman came back in. Like, fair play to Dan, when he's come back in, he's been superb, really. But I thought Ben Hamer, considering he's not played a lot of games at all, he's come in and he was superb. And I think in that middle of the season, he won us a lot of points. So I totally agree with Sam. Probably just to throw another one out there, probably be Jake Rizamore. I wanted to give Jake a shout as well, but we'll move on after that.
Jake,
if you're listening on audio as well, by the way, when I said Ben Hamer, Charlie was shaking his head, and I was
because you stole mine.
Have I completely thrown one off here? Good to see we agree on that.
So I had 3 shouts for this. Hamer actually didn't even think of, to be fair. And to be fair, look, I think Batman gets a lot of criticism. I actually think since he's come into the team, he's made some really big saves for us, which shouldn't go under the radar. In terms of unsung hero, I think Livermore, similar to Hamer in that midpoint of the season when we were needing that experience and someone with that game management in games, I thought he did really well. I'm actually going to give it to Tom Dele-Bashiru. And the reason being is he's played in 3 different positions this season. You think of the right back, then he played right wing back at some point, had to fill in there. He's played at central midfield. He's played as an 8. He's played as a 6. I just think Tom, what he's given to this team this season, goes under the radar when, especially in that number 6 role, where you just need someone to tick it over and keep it moving. And I think he's been a revelation actually in that role. So I think in terms of unsung hero, I'm going to give it to Tom Dele-Bashiru. I was tempted with Kayembe, but because I do feel we are better with Kayembe in the team, but I think Dele-Bashiru is the one who's been a consistent performer and just does go under the radar a little bit for me in terms of his performances, and the fact he's played in a couple of different positions added to that. So I've gone Tom Dele-Bashiru. And hopefully, obviously, with his contract situation at this moment in time, which we've all touched on, keep, sell, or loan. Correct me if I'm wrong, lads, but does he have 1 year left on his current deal? Which is something to just bear in mind, Sam, going forward.
Yeah. There's obviously, when that happens, you got 3 options, which is you keep him and let him run down his deal and let him go for free in the next summer. We let him sign a new contract, which hopefully we do, or we sell him for this summer. Where, again, we'll talk about this fully in the keep, sell, or loan, but I think it's worth us just keeping hold of him for another year, even if he runs down his contract.
A couple of shouts in the live chat. David Robertson, Ryan Porches is an unsung hero for me. Charlotte, unsung heroes, the ground staff. What a tremendous pitch we have at the Vic, especially when contrasted with our other championship grounds. That's an absolutely superb shout. Soren said Livermore. Lou says Hamer, Livermore, and Hoot, the only players to probably be above 5 out of 10 this season. Unsung hero RH 1986 loser for leaving on loan. I'm sure Sam will back that shout. He's, for people who haven't seen, he's just fist pumped the camera and given it one of them. And Mark lastly saying unsung hero Livermore for surprising us in the first half of the season. We move on to our next category, which is the best game. So not best performance, best game as a Watford fan this season, Sam. Someone who's gone home and away, like Charlie, this season. What are we giving it to?
I've gone Preston away. I just thought it was a whole great day out, everything about it. We'll touch on the best away day where I've gone for something different, but best game, it was just, I know it wasn't as many goals, but if you think back to 2014, that World Cup semi-final where Brazil played against Germany, and it just seemed that every time Germany attacked, they scored, and they were 5-0 up in the first half. It felt like that. Every time we went forward, we scored, and in amongst that, there was some absolutely amazing goals from Kone, Kiembe, even Bayo curling it into the top corner was amazing. And no better person to spend it with than Mr. Zazzera and Harry Welch as well. So fantastic away day. And like I touched on before as well, I'd argue Ben Hamer was probably our man of the match that day, even though we scored 5. He was just unbelievable in that first half and at the end.
Charlie, you got a similar pick?
No, different pick for this one. I've just seen Ben Coleman say Coventry 3, Watford 3. That was great fun at the start of the season. And I always remember that game. Obviously, the Wesley Hoot own goal, which we've had a couple of those this season. But Yasser Asprilla had a strike, which was unbelievable, which would have made it 4-3. And their keepers just tipped it over. If that went in and Yasser scored that, it would have been unbelievable, but a mad game. But the best game I've gone for was New Year's Day. I think Sam was there. Plymouth 3, Watford 3. It was just the most crazy, mad game I've seen in a while. I think it was hammering it down with rain. 49 shots in total, which is crazy. We saw Kone score a brilliant goal, little 1-2, and then he curls it. Kone scored some really good goals this season. Hopefully he can carry that on next season if he's still here, fingers crossed. And then Ryan Andrews scored a brilliant goal as well on the break where he got his foot to it and kind of ran into that away end. But just 49 shots. It was pure vintage championship carnage, and I loved it. Great way to kick off 2024.
That's a great shout. That's a really good shout. And I remember the one of the photos of the season, if I'm not mistaken, was Andrew celebrating in the away end. And really, that might be my photo of the season actually. If we did that category. Okay, so I'm kind of going last on these, so I'll throw out a few notable mentions as well. Coventry away, as Charlie mentioned, in that 3-3. There was some would say Leeds at home in the 2-2. Some would say Rotherham at home in the 5-0. I'm Preston away. I'm not going to go for that. QPR at home, obviously. I'm actually going to go with Watford 3, Norwich 2 at the Vic, because number one, that was probably our best comeback of the season. I also think Asprilla's goal to be the winner, the way he just ball rolled it, that for me is just absolutely gorgeous. Some would say the quality of Norwich's team at that moment in time. And also, do you know what I actually felt with that game? When we went down to 2-0, I felt like everyone turned a little bit. And I think in other seasons, we would have lost that quite comfortably, 4-0 probably. But actually, we turned it around and showed a bit of character. And I thought that was a big result, actually, for this Watford team, because more often than not, over the last couple of seasons, we've seen them cave in a bit. And that game had a bit of everything. It had quality goals with Kone's strike, for example, Asprilla's ball roll. It had goals. It had some bad defending. It had some great attacking. And actually, the fact that Watford had come away with a win at the end of it, I'm going to pick that as my best game of the season. There was...
We had the WD18 bingo card there.
Which one was that?
We would have lost that last season.
It's all about the intangibles, though, Charlie. I'll say the way that team came back. I love this team. Sam, you're going to jump in there.
Yeah, I just think it's Norwich have been such an interesting side this season because
I'm fuming.
After that game, I reckon most clubs, with the way that the fan base are feeling, the team definitely weren't playing for him at that moment in time, would have sacked David Wagner. In the away game as well, where we lost that 4-2, and come on to that in a second with one of my picks. But they made a double substitution at 2-2, and I've never seen a stadium react like that, going absolutely mental with the manager, saying, you don't know what you're doing, sacked in the morning, blah, blah, blah. They went on to win the game 4-2, and now they're in the playoffs. They're actually my pick for who I think will win the playoffs, just based on momentum. I think it's something
I'm feeling West Brom, I think.
Charlie?
West Brom or Leeds. Hopefully not Southampton. Hopefully not Norwich. I feel like Norwich are our blood brothers. We have to stick with them every division. And again, watching them twice, even when they beat us 4-2, I just think they're pretty average. And I don't know, a bit jealous. I'm like, why are you up there? We should be near you. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of Chris and Jack talk Norwich City, but I hope they hope they bottle it, and their neighbours Ipswich can enjoy some time in the Premier League.
To be fair, it would be quite good to have an East Anglian derby in the Premier League. That'd be good fun. Moving on to the next category, funniest moment of the season. There's going to be some shouts, and also let us know in the live chat because there's going to be some niche ones that we've definitely forgot. So let us know. Funniest moment of the season, Sam.
Well, I was torn between two. If I give my options now, I think I went with what I was originally thinking was when we renewed Valérien Ismaël's deal and we put club statement Valérien Ismaël, and you can see all the quote tweets going, "Oh, they've done it again, Watford. They've done it again. They don't know what they're doing." And then you actually read the tweet and the club statement, and we've renewed his contract. All that was quite funny, but I've gone with Dean Austin's text messages the game before they played against us, where he basically called Watford a very, very poor team. Said Wesley Hoot looked absolutely terrible. I know we did go on to lose the game, so he was vindicated in some ways, but I thought that was quite a funny moment, seeing something like that being exposed in public, and they weren't too happy about it after, I believe.
Devastated we lost that game, because the content, if we beat him, would have been exceptional.
We can exclusively reveal that Charlie did have a tweet saved in the draft that never made it to light after that game. Charlie, your funniest moment of the season?
Yeah, I did. I've got a few. Do you know what I really liked? Obviously, beating QPR again away, great. Just Jake Livermore scoring 2 worldies and kind of celebrating like he didn't care. But later on the season, 0-0 against newly promoted Ipswich Town. Last minute, we're just trying to clear our lines. Edo Kernby puts his foot through the ball as hard as he can. Next thing you know, the keeper's scrambling and he almost scores in the last minute. If that went in, it would have been one of the greatest moments ever, because we were hanging on at that point. I don't even know if we were hanging on, but we were just clearing our lines. And yeah, I've used the picture in a couple of promo tweets, like him, like on his knees like that. It was just so bizarre, such a good moment, and very Watford. So that was the funniest moment for me.
Do you think he meant that? No. I don't think he meant that. I think he just put his foot through it to clear the line, and he almost scored. To be fair, that was on my shortlist, Charlie. So these are the other options that there's 3 other options. So Sam mentioned Texgate, Charlie mentioned Kiembe at Ipswich. I've got 3. So 2 fan missing a penalty. I did actually laugh at that when that happened, but that was more sort of like just me being that really bad ex who just hasn't got over him. Then there was Porteous going. Yeah, no, I've got over him, but it's just like I don't know why I'm salty. Like, I don't want him in the team, but Anyway, the next one, Porteous in goal at Leicester. The second time, 2 seasons in a row where we've had an outfield player in goal. That did make me laugh. But do you know what? The one that actually really, really got me, I don't know why. Maybe it's just that I've got a bad sense of humour. But Valérien Ismaël keeping the team in the dressing room at Sunderland away, and Andrew French tweeting basically they'd been locked in. And it's like, why haven't they been let out yet? And I don't know why, because it was like one of the worst performances of the season. If we were doing worst performance, are we doing that as a category? That would be right up there. I mean, Sunderland away was terrible. I was watching it on not even proper Sky Sports. It was Sky Sports Mix for start. And then I just saw these tweets rolling through about from Andrew French about Ismaël keeping the players in. I don't know why. I'm going to give it to that because it did really make me laugh at the time. So funniest as the season was Ismaël keeping the team in the dressing room for at least an hour after Sunderland.
It didn't come to anything, but for a small period, it did look like the turning point of the season, keeping them in the dressing room. We went on a really good run of form after that.
Mate, honestly, I had a look at the run after that. So when we lost away at Sunderland 2-0 on the 4th of October, we drew at Cardiff, won against Sheffield Wednesday, won against Swansea, drew against Millwall, drew against Huddersfield, and won against Rotherham. And granted, pretty much all of those teams are pretty bad, but you have to say it did work. We've had a few shouts. 2 fan missed pen. That was the Hamer one away. Do you know what? I actually did laugh after Hoot's halfway line goal. That really did make me laugh. I don't know why, because I just didn't expect it. We had Hamer's dive at Bristol City after they scored.
Shout. Forgot about that one.
Thompson's impression of a football. Ian says, two fans missed pen was worth the admission price alone. Funniest moment of the season, Ucko's manager.
It's coming. One day, Carlos Corberán will be at Liverpool.
Oh, goodness me.
I tell you what, I mean, another one that I just thought of now. Do you remember Gareth Ainsworth's interview after the first game of the season when we beat them 4-0 going, this lot are probably going to go on to be up there to win the league or something like that? And I think they finished level with us, didn't they?
Box office. Huge shout out to Jack. Even lads, hope you're all well. Love the prediction review the other day. If you haven't watched that, make sure you do. It's on the channel. You can listen to it on audio as well. We're halfway through the stream. If you could leave a like, subscribe to WD18. I don't know how many likes we're on, but there's a few of you watching. So if you could jump on just before Monday Night Football, drop us a like, a comment, all that good stuff. We move on to the next category.
What do you think? You mentioned it there, worst performance after Sunderland. I think we decided not to do that as a category originally because don't want to be too negative. But any other stinkers, that really bad performances that stand out for you guys? For some reason, that Millwall away. I don't know why that stuck out for me. Just lifeless.
Do you know one for me as well? Bristol City on Boxing Day. Terrible. Terrible.
That one.
I can't. Yeah. I mentioned it before, but I can't get how bad that Huddersfield away game was when we drew 0-0. That we were absolutely terrible that day. Like, I've seen Watford offer nothing in the past. I can't remember anything of note that happened that day. Terrible.
It's so bad.
Do you know what? This leads nicely on to our biggest stinker of the season. Sam, kick us off.
Well, sort of a famous one because I didn't realise famous one for WD18 in the group chat at least. So I didn't realise how bad it was in the ground, but I've got Emmanuel Dennis's performance against Norwich away. How bad that was when he came on. I think he came on the left-hand side and I left the ground going, oh, that was really, really poor. I really, really hope he improves. Get out of the ground, check my phone. Charlie sent me over the stats. Something like 0% pass accuracy, 0% shot accuracy, gave the ball away every time he had it, didn't track his runners, didn't move. That's up there, I think, with one of the worst cameos I've ever seen from a Watford player, full stop. So I've gone with that one.
That's a very good shout. I didn't expect that one, but you've just reminded me of the absolute disaster class at Carrow Road. Charlie, have you gone player or team?
That's something slightly different. But yeah,
Okay.
I remember seeing those Dennis stats. He lost possession 12 times and was on the pitch like for 20 minutes or something. I just remember like looking at it about 5 times, like this isn't real, surely. Anyway, love you, Emmanuel.
Wait before you jump in, Charlie. That was the match reaction where Sam was in the back of the cab. Doing about just absolutely slating Emmanuel Dennis. Charlie.
Yeah, a bit, I don't know, a bit more of a serious one, maybe. Biggest stinker, I think, was when Watford sacked Ben Manga. Not Ben Hamer, Ben Manga. Earlier in the season, we've talked last season how much pedigree Ben Manga's got. And kind of, we're all excited to see him come in with his team with Helena Costa. Last season, obviously, didn't go well. They brought in Ishmael Kone. They also brought in Henrik Arouge and I think Ferreira. But obviously, like, there was just no cohesion there. And they decided to part ways, which I think after getting such a bit of a coup was really disappointing to see. And now we end up with, it was Jaretta, but now Nani in that position. So just feels like it would have been great to have someone like him, but for whatever reason, it didn't work. But for me, that was a really, really disappointing moment in the season because I felt like we had a real bit of quality in the building and we just let it go.
Some 2 solid shouts. So when I initially got the list through from Charlie, I did pick a match just because there's some matches this season I've had a hangover with anger after it. And there was one mentioned by Mark. We were awful at home to Huddersfield and away to them. They just put 10 men behind the ball with, I believe, 7 defenders on the pitch. Alex says the Hertfordshire Haaland's free kick at the Vic could have been the funniest or the biggest stinker. I've actually gone, I mean, Batman's karate kick challenge was absolutely mental this season.
Was that last season against Huddersfield?
Hasn't there? I think there's been another one this season, hasn't there?
I also had Batman's red card away at Leicester, but I've got a feeling the Kung Fu kick was
Huddersfield
back in the last season. Yeah, the I think it was on Easter, wasn't it? Under Chris Wilder. That was
Have a read of that one, Sam.
Oh, people are gonna keep, it's just going to be people are going to keep digging this up now, aren't they?
Biggest thinker, Ucko's Ints prediction. For me, biggest thinker from a Watford point of view this season was without a doubt Norwich away. How we lost that game, I honestly, to this day, I remember we did the stream afterwards, Charlie. And do you remember the morning after? Like, I'm not, with the morning after, well, yeah. I still remember it vividly. We'd gone away to Norwich. Yasser Asprilla arguably scored, if it wasn't for Wesley Hoot's halfway line goal, the goal of the season with the absolute cracker from about 30 yards out. And February, I still haven't got over it, right? Honestly, we didn't play very well, but we've gone into the break at 2-1, if I remember correctly. Second half, we pulled it back to 2-2 with Yasser Asprilla. You're thinking, you know what? Either just contain a draw. And this was the moment where, like, we finally kissed playoffs goodbye, by the way. I think that's why I was really, really annoyed about it. It was like the final. I knew it was done, but it was like the final straw. Asprilla scored the world in. You're thinking, goodness me, can we kick on? Of course we couldn't. And Gabriel Sara, Christian Fausnocht as well. And you just like sat there going, Watford. It was the most Watford. We bottled it, really. We did bottle it in that moment. And we collapsed in that moment in the season. So you can tell
it was 3 months ago, mate. Calm down. Honestly.
I'm still absolutely raging.
They were poor as well, weren't they, on the night at Norwich?
That bit as well. Their fans, right? Their fans are booing their own manager, telling him to go, get him sacked. And we've gone there, just give them a gift after Christmas. Honestly, still raging. So biggest thinker, Norwich away, absolutely without a doubt. From biggest thinker, Sam, to best away day, and you've been on quite a few this season. So what is it? Give us some notable shout outs first off, and then give us your main one.
I think that there's been some really, really good days out this year. And like I've always said, football's always more about than what just goes on the pitch. It's all about the company you have off it. Charlie mentioned Plymouth earlier, which was a brilliant day out and a brilliant game of football to watch as well. I think the Birmingham away games being at uni here were really, really fun ones as well. But I'm going to go with QPR away. I thought was just... Watford were poor that day. I think we probably deserved to win the game, but QPR were just worse than us. But in front of the away end, 2 lovely goals from Jake Livermore, holding on at the end. Ben Hamer pulls out a wonder save in the last minute, celebrating the full-time whistle like a goal, jumping around with Mike Parkin and Charlie in the upper tier at Loftus Road. It was just everything you want with an away day. And one that will live long in the memory.
I think I completely agree with you. I think the one thing that was spot on about that as well, it was the fact we played very badly. And I think that made it so sweet that Livermore just thought, you know what, I'm going to take this into my own hands and absolutely belt 2 in the bottom corner. And also, if I remember correctly, the second shoot was one of the best shoots I've ever heard at a football ground. Charlie, I've gone QPR away as well because I was there for it. I couldn't really pick one that I wasn't there for. Honourable shout out though. I know a lot of people have said Blackburn away. I
didn't go to Blackburn away. I was in London for that one. Just the QPR away. There was a moment where Mike Parkin kind of ran down a couple of stairs and everyone was jumping on him, and I just saw his bald head and I took the opportunity to do the Barthez Zidane kiss. That was good, as well as Jake Livermore's name getting sung round Shepherd's Bush. That was good. And at that time, we were off the really good run just before Christmas, got that result, and we were like, could we? But we couldn't. Another shout out was Cardiff away. First, I went to Cardiff.
Yes.
Me and Jacob got the.
Oh, it was a great day. That was a lovely day.
The game, it was after Sunderland, wasn't it? It was a pretty poor game, but I think we came back to draw 1-1. I think Bayo just about managed to score, almost missed, but got the job done. That was good. But for me, it's got to be Preston away. Unbelievable scenes. Watching it with Sam and Harry, and it just felt like every 5 minutes we were running down for each goal. I remember, it might have been me, but we're doing like the crow on like the padded seats, like every time we scored. I remember the players like came round afterwards and throwing their shirts, and I remember one of the young lads that we kind of know got a Bio shirt. There's a funny story about that, but I won't tell it on this stream. I don't know if I told that story. So, Russ, if you're listening, you got away with that one. Yeah, Preston away, years before, Curry afterwards. It was pure perfection for an away day.
Love that. We had a shout from Charlotte. Love seeing us win away at Swansea. Went into the game with no expectations and delighted to see King Ken win it for us with 10 minutes to go. Some other shout outs. I know people will be thinking Tom Cleverley's first win away at Birmingham, which was a special one for people who went. I know a lot of people enjoyed that one. I think you think of Blackburn, Preston away, Hull away with Wesley Hoots, Weldy, which is a once in a few seasons sort of thing. Swansea away is a notable mention. In terms of the day as a whole, Cardiff for me was up there. It was a really good day, actually. So, yeah, there's our best away day.
What's the best atmosphere that you guys thought you witnessed this season?
Away from home?
Both.
I thought Leeds away was loud.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
In terms of home fans we experienced.
Just for atmosphere away, the best fans.
Best atmosphere.
Yeah. At the Vic, I thought Cleverley's, to be fair, I actually think both Leeds games at home, I thought the Vic was good value when Clevs came back for his first home game.
Yeah, I think definitely that's a good shout. I always think West Brom have quite good fans as well. Like West Brom. Yeah, West Brom.
Right. Okay. We move on to the best opposition player, Sam. Who's one player that stood out for you?
I was torn between two here. I was thinking Barry Bannon. I thought against Sheffield Wednesday, or particularly the away game, dictated the game. That left foot of his is just like a wand. Jacob's kissing his Edu Kiembe mug if you can't see on audio. Yeah, I think Barry Bannon was really, really good against us, but I can't look past Somerville. Just absolutely fantastic player. Jorginho Ruta in the first game was really, really good against us, but that Somerville performance at Vicarage Road, I remember we came on here after saying we felt sorry for Ryan Andrews because it was just a torrid time for him being torn inside out. But yeah, I can't look past Somerville for this one.
I'm not going to go with the same player, but Somerville I think he's been the best player in the Championship this season, to be fair, Somerville, in terms of the consistency of his performances and reaching such a high level in the Championship. Regardless of whether Leeds go up, I think he'll definitely be playing Premier League football next season. Charlie, who did you go for?
I went for Barry Bannon. Okay. Again, I'm trying to look to see if I could bring a different option, and I don't know if he was the best, but I was just shocked how good he was. Like, obviously, he's a really small player, but he was just dictating the whole game, popping it around, getting into tackles, spraying balls. He must be, 32, 33. I just thought he was unbelievable, and I was shocked, and I thought, yeah, he was brilliant. I can't really think of anyone else off the top of my head. I think best team, like Ipswich, I thought we played really, really well at home against Ipswich. I think we let in 2 goals late on, but I just remember their rotations and knocking it about, and they looked really, really slick. So I thought Ipswich may be the best team, but yeah, for me, Barry Bannon, best player.
Good shout. Somerville's obviously the obvious one. I think Keenan Dewsbury Hall looked really good when he played against us. Won both fixtures, actually. One that surprised me, actually, if you were going to say not maybe the best, but was it Rudoni who played for Huddersfield? I thought he looked a good player, best player on the park easily that day. I'm going to go with Somerville. I think he was the one that... Actually, you know what? Sam's already gone to Somerville. I'll go Dewsbury Hall. We had a few shouts. Ben Coleman says Amari Hutchinson at Portman Road was brilliant. Ryan Hardy at Plymouth away, sign him up.
I had another Plymouth player in there, actually, as well.
Liam Miller away at Preston was one from Lewins.
He troubled Tom Deli-Bashir at right back, didn't he? He ripped him one.
Yeah, I the other Plymouth player I had, he's obviously left there now, but I just remember Finn Azaz being really, really good against us. Scored probably the best goal scored against us this season, wasn't it? As well.
Yeah.
He was really good.
Up there probably as well, to be fair. They're the 2 best.
Definitely.
There we have it. Okay, let us know in the comment section below. We move on to we've kind of ended the Watford end of season 23-24 awards, and let us know what you think, as I said, in the comment section below. We move on to 2 of the most prestigious awards anyone can win, particularly in the Watford space. WD18 subscriber of the season. Now, we wanted to give a shout out to you guys who have watched our streams and listened to our podcasts over the course of the season. I know there's people who've watched us for almost 7 years now, which is absolutely ridiculous when you think about it. You've seen me still not be able to grow a beard from the tender age of 16 all the way to 22. But it's been an amazing season for the channel as a whole. We mentioned the WD18 Cup on the 23rd of March, which raised over £6,000 for Hearts Mind and the Peace Hospice as well in Watford. You talk about sort of the stuff, the amount of people we've met, obviously with the Mad Squirrel, the post-match pints, meeting people on match day. So many lovely comments. We genuinely really do appreciate it. And we wanted to do a Subscriber of the Season awards for one person individually that we think stood out, and shout out to you guys who have watched the streams and got involved with our content this season. So Sam, as always, kick us off. Who have you gone for your Subscriber of the Season?
I've got two, to be honest with you. One of them I put in the chat beforehand. I think the first one had to go Harry Welch. Met him through the channel, and he's become one of my best mates now. Charlie's got the flat cap on. Going home and away with him every week this season has just been brilliant. And I know he's a big viewer of the channel. So that's one. And my other one is Laura Goods as well.
Nicked mine. You've nicked mine, Sam. He's done it again, Sam Ucko. He's done it.
Me going first. You need to stop me going first the whole time. Jacob, I'll let you say a few words on Laura.
No, go for it, mate.
No, I just think, loyalty with viewing every single week, and always nice to see her at games as well. I know she's had a few times in hospital this season, but still makes it to games. So, congratulations on winning my prestigious award here.
We should have got an award, shouldn't we? We actually should have got something sent out. What we can say is if you like a Mad Squirrel pint, I will buy you one if you come to the first game of next season. Charlie, Subscriber of the Season.
Yeah, I wanted to go for Axel Vim Wright. He's always been a big support of the channel whenever we've done stuff. Even kind of back when we were doing spaces, he was a good contributor. And yeah, I know he's just been a big support, always watching, always engaging with our content. And I know he's doing his own stuff now. He's doing stuff on kind of up and coming young footballers. So make sure to give him a follow. But yeah, just someone who's always there, always supporting. So yeah, wanted to thank Axel, really.
Love that. I've got a few shout outs. We do apologise if we've left you out, but there are a few people that are watching today. Some of our moderators as well. Ian, always about. He loves it. His distance covered must be unbelievable on these streams, honestly. Surin as well is always about. But the person I wanted to give my Subscriber of the Season to, Laura was one of them. But Charlotte Gibson, every single stream this season, Charlotte has been there in the chat, giving her takes, getting involved with the conversation. And it means a lot. So really do appreciate it, Charlotte. Would be lovely to meet you if you're at a game next season. Shout out to Laura as well. And shout out to everyone who's watched this season. We really do appreciate it. So that is our sort of Subscribers of the Season. Just a few shout outs to it, but a shout out to everyone who got involved over the course of the 23-24 this season. But it moves on to the final category, which honestly, to be honest, this is the only reason I've done the stream. It's the most highly anticipated one of the lot. It is our WD18 tweet of the season. So we've all picked. So I picked Charlie's tweet, one that he's tweeted this season. Sam's picked.
I've got two for you, Jacob, and one for Charlie.
Okay, I've got one for Sam as well.
Didn't read the memo there.
No, I love that.
I'll get mine done out of the way. I've only picked one for Sam because it took me about 2 days to go through all of his for the season.
Go on then. Let's. Charlie, you know what? Sam's kicked us off this evening. You go for it. Kick us off with a tweet.
And yeah, to be honest, Sam did have a lot of, like I said, he had quite a few to go through. There was plenty about how good Val was, which I probably liked most of them, how much Val's going to change our fortunes. There was plenty on the Hertfordshire Haaland, how he was the striker that we need. But for funny content, I've gone with this one. I don't know if you guys can see it. You see that, all right?
For people who can't see it, Charlie.
For people that can't see it, I think Sam, am I right? Was that at Millwall?
Millwall away, yeah.
Obviously, yeah, we talked about how the game wasn't great, but Sam's just caught a fan. And the copy reads, "Someone has fallen asleep in the away end with the fan arm back, just having a nice kip during the game." So that really made me laugh. But yeah, Sam, congratulations this year. Some epic tweeting, some great content. So well done, mate.
Thank you, mate. I appreciate it.
You've dominated the Watford FC hashtag this season. Sam, hit us with yours, mate.
So I've got three here. First one I'll go with was Charlie. I believe this was tweeted on Christmas or around Christmas. Can you see that okay? Yeah, Charlie. Me telling my nan on Christmas Day about Watford's evolution under Val from using Sear Alter as a false six and Morris as an inverted fullback at the start of the season. It's just been a mental season, hasn't it?
It must have been mental if Charlie's tweeted that.
That's good content.
Great content, mate. Loved it. And then I have
Oh God.
So I've got two for Jacob, and one of them I'll do after Jacob. You show mine. I'm trying to get the last one up. I just think the two parts to this tweet are absolute perfection. Backman runs halfway up the pitch to pick up a yellow card, gives away a penalty, gets sent off for a second yellow card, no subs left, and Porteous ends up in goal. One normal day of Watford, please. And then you almost have the Lampardian transition going into the second part of the thread. I guess this is normal. We saw almost the exact same thing against Huddersfield last season. Backman losing his head and getting himself sent off. Just so unnecessary. It's just like that. It's my last sentence. Just so unnecessary. I love that. I found it hilarious. Prime Jacob Culshaw.
Do you know what? It's the full stop at the end of just so unnecessary. It's actually killed me. As if it's some sort of statement. Okay. Oh my God. I've got one for Charlie, one for Sam. That's crap. I completely forgot about that one, Sam. Okay. Do you want Sam or Charlie's first?
Go with Charlie's.
Okay. Charlie Zazzera. I've got a bone to pick with you, mate. Actually. Let me just get it up very, very quickly because I think I've got Sam's up as well. Here we go. Here we go. I've got a bone to pick with you. Can you see that?
Yeah.
More than a match for Ipswich tonight. That's 4 consecutive good performances against 3 good teams and Norwich.
You really hate Norwich.
Val's cooking something, and I like the smell of it. So my question is, Charlie, what was he cooking?
It was a slow. It was in the slow cooker.
Oh my God!
It was in the slow cooker, and the fuse broke halfway through. But it started off nice.
Oh God! I don't know. Cooking something. No one found out what he was actually cooking. The second one. It was God, that really did get me. was Sam, and this was at the February the 24th. If you can maybe guess when that was and what was going on at that moment in time. If we get this up here, share screen. There are no managers in world football who can succeed at Watford FC long term while Gino Pozzo owns the club. And for me, what's amazing about this is the use of world football. There's be a manager out there who can do a job at Watford in the whole of world football.
Oh God!
So they're my 2 tweets. Sam, did you find the other one?
Yeah, I've got the last one here. If I just share my screen now. Ooh, it's not coming up for some reason. It's not letting me share it, but it's after Tom Cleverley, after our win against Birmingham, I believe it was. And Jacob, you just tweeted, "I've been sucked in. This is dangerous."
Was that? Oh, do you know what? I'm trying to cover my tracks.
It would have been after one of the first few games under Clevs. It was. If someone can work out, it was off. It was on the 1st of April. If someone can work out when that was, which game that was.
I think that was West Brom away.
Oh God!
I went a bit too big. I think. I think
that was probably a 2-0 up.
That wraps up That wraps up the end of season awards, lads. Any moments of the season you wanted to mention before we wrap up?
I think you mentioned it before, but the WD18 Cup was just an unbelievable day. My best time. I've been on the channel now for this is my 4th or 5th season now on here. So without doubt, that was the highlight. And looking forward to a few days off now before we start our 24-25 content.
It never ends, does it? Charlie, a man who was instrumental in making that day happen. Absolute legend. What was there a moment this season that sticks out? One that you won't forget? 23-24. Just maybe life in general, or Watford.
There's one I did forget, Pop World after WD18 Cup. I don't want to touch on that too much, but WD18
Serious shapes for people who weren't there, by the way.
WD18 Cup was obviously amazing, and like looking back now, having Clevs down there and Damon was great, and Nigel Gibbs, and just meeting everyone was fantastic, and raising the money. Obviously, just the away days. Like we've talked a bit. This season was it better than last season? It just was like going to away games. Like I felt it. I had so many good times despite ending 15th. Football is not all about the results. That was great. And yeah, I think I really enjoyed like the post-match pint content. It'd be interesting to see if people enjoyed that content as well. It's something that we're new to. Mad Squirrel have been great this season at hosting us. Really enjoyed doing that live with you guys. And yeah, just the occasions we've been out and people coming up to us and meeting us, and yeah, it's been fantastic. So yeah, a good season for me. Looking forward to having a bit of chill watching England, and then we'll be back to do it all over again.
We will be there.
I love how we talk about like we're about to go and have our break before pre-season, like with players.
Yeah, keep moving cells next week.
Well said, lads. Yeah, just to echo what the guy said, big shout out to everyone who watched us this season. I know there's been a lot of streams, a lot of content. Let us know, as Charlie said, what content you like. I know, obviously, our main videos are on a Sunday night. We do the post-match pints, etc. But do you want to see more instant reaction stuff outside the ground? Would it be the post-match pints? What sort of stuff do you want to see? Or are you happy with the current formats? We're always open to suggestions. A massive thank you once again, and thanks to everyone who got involved this season. We had a few comments. Ian, thanks for the streams this season. Hope everyone has a great summer praying for next season. Already limbering up for next season. We get the call up from Clevs. David Robinson, great stuff. Many thanks. Charlotte, great way to end the season. Thanks, lads and fellow Hornets fans. Have a fab summer, everyone. Looking forward to keep, sell, or loan on the whiteboard already. That should be a belter. And that will be coming in the next couple of weeks, but I think we'll take a little bit of a break and then we'll get back out there ready for 24-25. Huge shout out once again. Thanks so much, guys. Really do appreciate it. If you're on the way, if you could leave a like, that massively helps us out. Subscribe to WD18. Follow Sam, Charlie, and myself on our social channels, and WD18 at WD18 fans. That's about it. That was our end of season awards for the 23-24 season.
It's quite sad, this.
And we will see you.
Just quickly, Jacob, one more thing. Just a massive thank you to both of you as well, because it's been great almost having these therapy sessions once a week on a Sunday night or whenever it's been. And yeah, it's just great having a platform like this to talk all things Watford. You
set me off here, Sam. Are you trying to make me cry?
I'm really hoping there's like an emotional montage of like us just laughing.
In the words
like Sam being angry at loser.
In the words of Graham Taylor, and that was it. Tears myself.
Oh, Sam, goodness me, mate. He's trying his best to get me going. Thanks so much, guys. Take care of yourselves. Have a lovely summer. We will be back, so don't go anywhere. Should be great. Take care, guys, and up the Hornets. You want.